What's up guys? Today is going to be a quick one. I am going to install the Pro Eagle universal jack mount in the bed of my truck, and we're going to try and use the factory bed bolts. That way I don't have to drill any holes into the bed itself. And this is in preparation for a trip that I'll be going on this weekend. I've gone off-roading before with the jack in the bed. I try to strap it down as best as I could, and the thing just rolls all over the place. So getting it in this mount is going to be key in preparation for this trip this weekend. So this is the mount right here. It's got 4 pre-drilled holes already. And I was going to just figure out where I wanted to put this thing and drill the holes into the bed, but I lifted the mat and I saw these 2 bolts that hold the bed to the frame, and they aren't exactly linear to each other, but lengthwise it totally matches up with this mount. So if I can find a happy medium of where I want this to be, I should be able to drill a hole through here, drill a hole in the front, toss the mat over, drill a couple of holes in there, and put it all together. And we'll use the mat as a little isolator between the mount and the bed. So right now I'm going to disassemble the jack. There's 2 halves on the handle, and then get that mounted onto the mount. The handles go under the jack. You slide the jack on top, latch it up, and I'm just gonna make sure that the wheels and all that stuff doesn't hit the front, doesn't hit the bed stiffeners, and see if it's gonna be in a good spot to use. All right, now you can see with the jack in the mount, it does take up a lot more real estate than just the mount by itself. So putting it where I had wanted to go, we've got the bolt right here in the middle. If I drill a hole right there, it'll be out of the way of the sticks. And then we've got the front wheel, and it's got some clearance between the beds, so we don't have to worry about that hitting. And let's see where the bolt lands. So the bolt's gonna be right here. If we put it there, deep right there in the corner, you can see the Torx head. I lined it right up with the hole on this. Okay, and then we've got this one lined up right about here on the rear. And what I'm gonna do is get all this stuff out of the way and try to close the bed and make sure it doesn't get in the way with that. As long as the bed closes, I'm really happy with the location. There you go. It looks like it's gonna work out just perfect. This is a very basic way of doing this, but what I did was I got the bolt lined up to where I wanted it on here. I put a little bit of black silicone on the top of this, made sure that the front was where I wanted it, sat it right down, and now I have a rough idea of where I need to drill a hole. So I'm gonna center punch it, obviously start smaller and work my way up. But this should be a solid way of getting it mounted up, relatively easy. All right, so that's the front bolt lined up, and then you can't really see it here, but maybe if I move it, there you can see the bolt head on the right. That's the inside of the Torx. That's the left. So we're pretty much centered here, and then we've got even lines from the bed back. Obviously I could drill it just a little bit wider for some side-to-side movement, but I'm going to try to get them as much, like as close to the stock bolt as I can, so there isn't that movement if at all possible. All right, so we've got a T55 Torx. I'm just going to break these loose. If you're on the East Coast, sometimes these things are rusted up, so you might want to go underneath and spray them with some penetrating oil, but you don't have to worry about it too much here. So this guy is just barely engaging at the bottom. More than likely I'm gonna need a longer bolt. This one has plenty of room for sure, so we'll see what happens here, but I'm not counting on it catching much. This one though, not worried about it at all. Okay, from here the plan is just to drill out this hole to accept the bolts. Oh, look at that, I don't have to do anything. So we're good there. It looks like it's catching these threads, so I'm gonna open up just a little bit. That way it falls into place. Yeah, we might want to do that. And this is the back, so we're doing the front right. Be helping. Would help if it was cinched. Sometimes when it gets rough like that, I'll reverse it for a little bit till it centers itself and then just goes straight and it works. I'm gonna run into the garage and see if I have anything that'll take this place, but it's very fine thread pitch, so I don't think I will. Yeah, I didn't find anything in the garage, so from here I'm just gonna start with this guy and just open it up until we can get this big 1/2-inch drill bit back up in there. So we'll do small increments. It is stainless steel, so it's probably gonna jack up these bits, but we'll do what we can. That is incredibly loud, and the drill bit smoked a bit, so I'm going to get some ear protection and some spray for the drill bit. Absolutely perfect time for the battery to die. And yes, I'm still rocking the gigantic old school battery. This was a free drill from when I was young from my mom. So I'm gonna use it till it dies. Let's see how good my little silicone trick works on the bolts. So if we use the bolt, well, that looks fantastic. I don't think I could have really asked for anything better. I could probably open this up just a little bit and get a little bit more room this way so that my OCD doesn't get too crazy that this isn't fully lined up. But other than that, this thing is just what I wanted it to be. The last thing I need to do is drill out the holes in the mat. Luckily, the head on this bolt sticks up, and it rubbed a little mark perfectly on this deal right here. So I'm gonna drill that out and then lay on that skid and put it right over, and hopefully we swing for the fences perfectly. If not, there's gonna be a little wiggle room because I need to drill it out larger anyways to put the little washers in between so we get a nice tight lockdown when the bolt's torqued. Okay, here is the game plan. I need to make this hole large enough for this washer to sit in, and we're gonna stack 3 of them so that way I know for sure it's larger than the little rubber nipple and the mat itself. And that's gonna sit right here, and we'll cinch it down. Due to this being a pretty large hole on the back side, I'm gonna put a big washer here and then 2 smaller ones, which will equal to 3 as well. Will be, actually, I'll have to do probably 2 large and 2 of these small ones so that we could factor in this as well and get everything leveled and torqued down properly once I get a longer bolt here, because this is way too short. All right, let's see if we can figure out the second hole. So this went straight all the way in, well past where the bed would have been. So I know for sure I got it. Let's just double check to verify. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So we'll open that up. That's literally exactly what we're looking for right there. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Up with the right amount of washers I'm going to be using. So I did 3 of the large washers up front, and 2 of the smaller silver ones will be going on as well. And then in the rear I just did 3 of the smaller ones, so there's 2 right there, and then we'll just put the last one on before we run the bolts through. but it was just a little too deep over there, and I didn't want to risk still having this rubber in the way from getting everything fully torqued. So these are going to be the 2 washers that I use, and I'll put the specs, outer diameter, inner diameter, in the description below. So these bolts stick down through the frame and hang out a little bit from the frame, and so that's why I said, you know, it might want to spray some penetrating fluid underneath if you're on the East Coast, because they like to rust. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of anti-seize on since I'm here. That way I don't have to worry about it in the future. I didn't like how it came off just a little harder than the front one did. So a lot of the times if you're off-roading, you know, the mud and stuff is going to hit this bolt down in the frame, and you don't want to have a hard time if you ever need to take your bed off fighting one of these Torx bolts. Should have wore gloves. Anyways, let's get it together. This one won't torque today until I get a replacement, but I'm just going to put it there as a locator. Alright, and then we can crank the front one down. If this could fully torque, that'd be amazing, but that'll have to wait till tomorrow. Anyways, we'll throw on the jack and see what it looks like. We will get this stuff all buttoned up. So we got the straps too. Okay, let's get this put in. The front has little slots right here that slide right onto the front of the mount. And the rear just drops in. And you put a rod through the locating pin. Put the straps on. And the finishing touch is going to be this cover. Put it this way. So cool. Get this junk out the way. I keep this strap in here all the time just in case I need to use it. It's always available. There we go. It's gonna be just what I was envisioning. And I'll probably get a lock for it too, instead of that pin. That way I don't have to worry about it when it's outside. But since we're gonna go on a camping trip and we'll pretty much have a one point destination to and from, I don't have to worry about it for now.